Do you feel like you're stuck in life, or whenever you try and implement something new in your life, trying to change your life around, do better, New Year's resolutions, whatever the case might be, but no matter how hard you try, it doesn't seem to go the way you want, and it just gives you reasons not to do what you want to do? Um, I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why that might be the case and how you might be able to reframe from being pulled into negative spirals or attachments. The first case is wherever you put your focus, whatever you're putting it into is going to come back to you, right? Think of it as the sunshine, right? Wherever that sun is shining, whatever it's shining on is going to thrive, right? So if you if you start focusing on the bad things that are happening, car crash, you're breaking up with your significant other, or someone stealing from you, or you have reasons, blah, 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 whatever the case might be, right? Whatever is negative, you are pretty much telling the world, you're putting it out there, that that's what you're focusing on, right? And when you do that, it puts energy into that situation, right? So people are coming up to you at work and they're giving you, they're mad, they're angry, but they're putting it on you. If you focus more on that, then it's just gonna create more of a negative cycle, right? Like, let's say when that situation is done and over with, and you keep thinking about it, and you try and think about something different, it might work for 5-10 minutes, bam. After that 10 minutes, that situation in your mind keeps coming back up, right? It's because you're focused on it. Wherever your attention is, it's gonna keep on coming back, or it's gonna be like a repetitive cycle. Yeah. So try and be aware that if you are in a cycle of thinking about something negative, try and reinforce it with something positive, right? Be like, instead of, oh my gosh, that customer pissed me off, blah, 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 he can't give me decent respect, or whatever the case might be, right? If at that present moment, that when that thought comes into your mind, at that present moment, if you're like, all right, that's not what I want to think about, that's not what I want to put out there, and you want to change it, flip it around and be like, all right, instead of, customers are always pissed off, they're always coming at me, yelling at me, screaming at me for no reason, and I have no idea about the situation, be like, all right, customers are peaceful, they are happy, they're encouraging, they're inspirational, they're respectful, they're courteous, they give me the respect that I deserve, right? If you can do that, then it'll help you a lot when it comes to external situations, right? Pretty much just flipping the script. Second thing I want to talk to you about is energy is a boomerang, right? So like I was telling you, whatever you put out is going to come full circle, right? So think about a bad situation, whether you let that go, right? If you let that to fester in your mind, or let it affect you without letting it go, then it's going to come back to you, right? So that's why I wanted to tell you about flipping the script, for altering where your attention's at. It'll help you, right? So, like, let's say bad situation happens, like, all right, instead of putting myself in a bad mentality, I want to reinforce it with something positive, right? And be like, all right, this is not going to affect me. I might be in a bad situation now, but it's, in the end, it will come out to be a better situation. Because when you do it like that, when you put a positive intention over a negative intention, whatever you put out last will come full circle, right? So instead of your car broke down, right? Instead of being angry, obsessive, oh my god, blah, blah, I gotta do this, and that, right? put it out there that no matter how it goes down, that this situation will come out to be it will come out in a better manner than it would have previously. You're letting go of the attachment of it being a certain way, and you're telling your mind, you're letting the universe know that that's not how you want to focus on it, right? Might be a little all over the place, but you're putting it out there that you don't want this to affect you in a certain way, and you're gonna put your focus on something more positive, and you're not gonna let it affect you in the way that it would have previously. All right. And the third one, with the focus and where you put it, how it becomes a boomerang, that is going to shape your reality in a way, because, well, things like that can happen daily, happens weekly, monthly, yearly, right? There's short-term and there's long-term energy cycles, right? So how someone treats you as a customer, that's short-term, right? How, I can't really think of anything on the top, like medium-wise, but like maybe think about long-term is how your job treats you. Man, that was a bad example. So let's say instead of putting yourself into a negative mentality and you reinforce it with a positive statement and you just let it go, right? You're like, all right, it might be bad right now, but I believe that it's gonna turn out good. And you let it go. You don't try and fix it. You don't try and control the situation. And it comes back full circle. You are building up, right? You're building it up. You're just building that positive reinforcement up, and you're allowing the universe, or however you want to go about it, you're allowing the universe to handle the situation for you instead of you trying to always force it, right? Because when you force it, it never works out. Nothing that ever forces, do you ever try and force, works out. Maybe if you're lucky, it might. But when you start doing that on a long-term scale, what I would say, compound interest, it builds up. So start small. I mean, if you want to start expanding your horizons, or you want to do better you want to do better physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, relationships, try and reinforce it with a positive attitude and just let it go. Maybe at first you won't see it right off the bat, but if you stick with it, it will actually present itself to you in a way that you're like, wow, I did not expect that. Trying to think of a good example. One good example that I can really give is when I was 16, 17, I was living in a place that I did not like. I was almost homeless. I, at that time, didn't know, but I was living with drug addicts. So the environment and the people that were around me was completely toxic, right? It's not something that I wanted to be in, right? But I pretty much told myself, and I put it out there to the universe, that I didn't want to be living there. I did not appreciate how the people treated me or the environment. I didn't want to be in a place where I'd not fear for my safety, but like I didn't want to have to constantly worry about what was going to happen. I put it out there at that given time that I'm going to be moving away. I don't know how, I don't know when, how it was going to happen, or who I was going to live with. I didn't know when. Okay, yeah. But I didn't know who, what, when, and where I was going to live with, right? But I put it out there that I didn't want to live there. I wanted something better. And I just wanted to get rid of this situation entirely, right? Within a month and a half after that of just like reinforcing it, my brothers ended up coming to me to the house I was living at and was like, hey, I talked to my mom, you're coming to live with us, right? out of nowhere. I didn't call him, I didn't text him, I didn't explain the situation at all. And pretty much it was a blessing in disguise. Out of nowhere, the universe is like, hey, I hear you, right? I want you to thrive. And, you know, it gave me the direction that I needed to go to better myself, right? And I'm so grateful for that. Because I actually don't know where I would have been if that wasn't the case. I might be homeless then. I might have become a drug addict myself. I don't know, right? I could be in the streets right now instead of being where I'm at right now, which I'm very grateful for.